All right, so let's talk about the difference between psychotherapy and coaching. And the example is the following. Somebody is coming to a one-on-one session wanting to work on their people-pleasing tendencies. This is what psychotherapy would do. You would understand, where is this coming from? You would notice maybe over the sessions, okay, the father was somebody who was very impulsive, maybe a very angry guy. As a child, you notice often early on, I can't think about my own emotions and my own desires, then my dad gets angry. I gotta really check how he is feeling, I gotta adjust, and I can't allow myself to be angry. This is the best way to receive love. We notice that. We also work very emotion focused on that because there's a wound that happened. I can't think about myself. This is very mean, and I always have to make sure others are feeling good. And this is basically the thought that evolved out of this emotional wound. And if you work on that wound and heal that, there's not even this coping strategy of I'm a people pleaser needed anymore, because you deeply emotionally feel I don't need to please everybody. It's okay if I don't. I will survive. I'm an adult now, and if people don't like me, it's okay. And people even respect me even if I stand up for myself. So that's basically therapy, more focused to the past, maybe in the beginning, I would even say. I would even make that statement, yes. Be more emotion focused and more to the root cause. Now, this is coaching. Coaching in some way, I'm using some provocative words maybe here for one or the other. I would say coaching is more solution oriented. You more think about, okay, when have there been exceptions when you're not a people pleaser? What kind of resources, mental and emotional resources you already have? What are friends that are already doing a better job? Let's set tangible goals. What would be the next step? Let's really be very goal-oriented and make that change right now without necessarily trying to understand the deeper emotionally focused context. And that's exactly why I also draw coaching within here, because therapy is also doing that at the right time. We don't just talk about the past, we also talk about the present, the future, we also set goals, but at the right time. Sometimes that's just the last 5% or 10% the client needs in a therapy session. Now, though, sometimes people just need coaching. And sometimes people, first of all, need a lot of therapy. And some coaches are not capable to do the therapy part. There are even some therapists who don't really get that sometimes this is just all that there is needed. But generally, I would even say that therapists are more competent. To become a psychotherapist, for example, here in Europe, it takes you at least 8 years. And not everybody can call themselves a psychotherapist. Everybody, though, can call themselves a coach. So you also got to be a bit careful who is more competent. So basically, I'm saying therapists are more competent than coaches in a lot of ways, but that's just like saying men are taller than women. Still, there are some women that are taller than some men. So you really got to check whether it's a good fit for you. And that's actually the most important part, that you feel like you can work together well, you get along, and actually the person you're working together with gets what you need. There are some therapists who are less competent than coaches, and also the other way around. And again, dependent on what you need right now. And then, by the way, there's also mentoring. Mentoring might be here. A mentor tells you what to do. A mentor is a guy who went through that stuff before. Maybe you want to build a business and this guy built a business already. Maybe he's in his 40s and you're in your 20s. He built already 5 businesses and that's your first one. And he's more telling you a lot what to do and how to do that, and just gives advice. There's not much coaching, and to be honest, basically no therapy involved. Yeah. That's the rough big picture. I also want to add that there's this misconception that psychotherapy is only for people with mental illness. That's not true. That's how it's being used a lot in today's society, but you don't need to have a mental illness. It could be just, as I said, a people-pleasing tendency. You could be a little impulsive. You could feel a little lost. You could feel a little lonely in your business. You could feel like unsure about the decision you want to make. You can still go to the deeper root cause and figure that out. But that's also more the long-term path. That's sometimes the only path that you can take. A lot of coaches, go for like the quick fix in 8 weeks. You can manage to do this and love yourself and whatever. Sometimes though it's needed to go a little bit longer path. I often tell my clients in therapy that it gets worse sometimes before it gets better, because we look at the stuff where this is coming from. That can be sometimes a little bit of a bummer at first. But I even, to be honest, tell this clients in coaching sessions. And to be honest, sometimes I don't even know the difference. Am I doing coaching? Am I doing therapy? What are we doing today? It sometimes changes simply within sentences or so. But again, coaching is part of a good therapy session at the right time. That's my take on that. I know other people have different opinions. I though just want to give you a rough big picture understanding of how generally you could roughly differentiate those two aspects.